Hello, I'm Diane Morgan. If you know who I am, you know who I am. If you don't, who cares? I'm here to explain Italian Time, a holiday phenomenon where Italians throw away their clocks and gather for eternity with San Pellegrino. I've been at this party so long that I've eaten 5 courses, hugged someone's grandma twice, and been offered a job in the family restaurant. So this holiday season, make sure to bring enough San Pellegrino to last you through the meal, the after meal, and the entire goodbye ritual. San Pellegrino, holiday on Italian Time.
Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are back in Disney's Freakier Friday, now streaming on Disney+.
We switched bodies.
I am freaking out right now. I think I just peed a little.
It's an absolute riot. And the only movie that can be described as
So much weirder than the last time. What last time?
it's the frequel
You ready?
we've been waiting for.
That absolutely slays.
Disney's Freakier Friday, now streaming on Disney+, rated PG.
This episode is brought to you by Kasamigos Tequila. What do you bring to a holiday party? Simple, a bottle of Kasamigos. Because nothing gets the party started like a Kasamigos margarita, which isn't just for summer. In fact, it's the perfect pour all year round. Kasamigos is the gift that always feels right, because anything goes with my Kasamigos. Please drink responsibly. Imported by Kasamigos Spirits Company, White Plains, New York. Kasamigos Tequila, 40% alcohol by volume.
And I will tell you, the number one most important thing is that you believe it's going to work. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the process that you're setting for yourself. You have to find something that sits in your body in a way that feels grounding and comfortable to you. And so that's what I've kind of done with the process that I go through is I took all the things I know about the research and the things that could help, and I took ideas from other people, but then I made it into something that sits with me in a way that I believe that it will make a difference. It spurs me on. It makes me smile. So take the process and stay committed to it, but also make it your own. I'm Jessica Valant. I'm a physical therapist, women's health expert, and Pilates teacher, and my goal is to help all women feel strong, safe, and secure in their bodies. In this podcast, I'll share expert advice, facts, amazing guests, stories, compassion, and hope to help you meet your body in all seasons of life. Hi, and welcome back to Meet Your Body. This is officially the last podcast that I am recording for 2025. This is the last one that we will put out for 2025 before we jump into the new year. And I just wanted to take a little bit of time to recognize that with you. It is a special time. It's, I believe, can be a sacred time. It can also be a hard time. And it can feel like any other day. All right. So that's another thing I want to say is you don't need to put any special bells or whistles on December 31st or January 1st. If you are thinking about setting goals, if you are thinking about goals you set in the past year, you can do this at any time. Like there is nothing magical about January 1st except that the calendar changes. And I am someone that loves that actually. I love what the new year brings. Like I love a new planner. I love the blank slate of the new year. So I get really excited about New Year's. Also, I remember last year going through January feeling like it was a blur. So I had surgery in December, like 2 Decembers in a row pretty much. I had major surgery. And for me in my work, January is really, really busy. The kids get back to school, right? There's all the things, new activities are starting. So January feels like you are jumping in with both feet. And I remember last year thinking, gosh, I wish New Year's was February 1st. Like I wish I was doing this introspection and setting some goals February 1st because January just passed by me in a big rush and I didn't even have time to look at the goals I had made. So here's the thing, you can do that. You can make it February 1st. You can make it anytime you want. So what I'm going to talk about today and kind of some of the steps that I go through, and then just to helping you guide through some of those as well. Just know it can be anytime. Do not put any pressure on yourself that it has to be right now. Use these strategies, use these thoughts, use these practices whenever you need to. And it might be multiple times throughout the year. You might feel like you want a blank slate many times throughout the year. You can take that. You can do that for yourself. So I want you to start off just by remembering that. If you are someone who wants kind of some of that, jumping into either a new plan or wanting some accountability, if you're excited for what January is bringing and you want to be a part of a community to do that with, I do want to let you know that I have a 4-week program called Thrive, and we're starting that January 5th, 2026. And it's 4 weeks of home workouts, resources, support from me. You'll get some live workouts with me. We will have home recipes. We will have emails, everything that you need to really feel supported in your health and wellness and in your body to start off the new year. And that will be for beginners and advanced movers. You're just learning how to meet your body where you are right now in this moment. And so I will have the link to sign up below, but we do start that January 5th, 2026. And just know, again, if it's not the right time for you for any reason, it is not a big deal. This is not a only chance thing. We will do it again next year. I do challenges and programs throughout the year. But if you are feeling kind of that excitement or that readiness to get into something that's not just a quick hit, that really will teach you how to be in your body and be with your body and start the new year feeling kind of that confidence just in knowing the choices to make for yourself. That's really important to me, that you learn how to make the best workout choices for yourself. And we do all of that in Unlimited, and that's where Thrive will be held. So if you're already a member, you will get all of this for free. If you're not a member and you want to join us for the 4-week program, I will have the link to sign up below. I would love to have you there. So let's talk a little bit about how to approach going into a new year, or again, anytime you feel like you might be going into a gentle ending of one season or a gentle ending of one thing and into the beginning of another. One of the most valuable things that I was ever told and taught about going into the new year, before making any kind of goals or any kind of visions for the new year, recognize and honor the year that you've been through. No matter what it has brought to you, it does not mean you need to be joy-filled about what the year brought. 2025 has brought a lot of stress for a lot of us, I know. But before we move on to the next, see if you can just look back and honor a little bit about what the year brought you, or what you learned, or how you grew. One practice I have is I always write down just big events and memories from the previous year. And I have one place I keep them, and I have them from years and years going back. And again, it doesn't mean you have to put rose-colored glasses on necessarily. I just want you to write down any big things that happened to you this year. So sometimes I write down trips we took as a family, any kind of milestones that our kids had. I've written down diagnoses I've had and surgeries that I've had, moves, anything like that, any way that I have grown that I want to write down, anything to really mark what the new year has brought me and has brought us as a family. So I highly recommend doing that. Sometimes it can open your eyes to things that the year has brought you that you've even either forgotten about or passed over. It's really easy if we have this overarching feeling of, oh my gosh, I just can't wait to get to the next year. If we have that, it can be easy to miss. Oh, but you know what? That did happen this year, and that was really great, and I did grow in that way, and that was a good time. So anything like that, I recommend you write it down. So that's the first thing. Next, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the process that I go through when it comes to moving into a new year. And again, I want you to understand I am someone who really likes to do this. I like the process of it, but also you can know I am not someone who writes down 20 different goals like every month or every quarter, and I make sure that I hit them all and I am keeping track day by day. I am not that person. So I have found kind of a happy medium that really, really works for me. And this is how I go through it. I am someone who has a word for the year. I always do. And I started this years ago as well. And I'll tell you why it works for me. I have found that it can be hard to always keep track of the goals that I am going for, meaning like, how do I keep myself on track? I sometimes have a hard time doing that when life does throw me curveballs, and I feel a lot of guilt if I don't reach that specific goal, which I am sure you can relate to. That is one problem with goals, is the guilt that we can feel if we don't reach it, or the feeling of failure. When goals are kind of meant to be adjusted and changed according to what life is going to bring us. So for me, having a word of the year helps me come back to kind of a North Star of this is what I'm trying to feel this year. Because for me, it comes back to feeling. How do I need to feel? How do I want to feel? What is my goal feeling? And then it makes it a lot easier to make choices throughout the year based on that. So, for example, I have had some in the year that have really been around growth. Like I wanted to grow personally. I wanted to grow in the business. I've wanted to feel like a phoenix rising out of the ashes, right? Like that is the feeling I have wanted. And so I've wanted that expansive kind of put my head down, do the work, growth feeling. And my goals then will match that. My goals should match that. And then making decisions around traveling for work, taking on projects, those kind of things, those are easier to make knowing, oh yeah, I have a goal this year of growth. So yes, I am going to take on that extra work trip, those kind of things. I have also had years, especially after my breast cancer diagnosis, where it really needed to be around rest. I needed to bring in that feeling of rest to my life. That doesn't mean I don't work. I keep working. I keep being a mom. I keep doing all the things. But again, I am going to make a list of goals that recognizes, validates, and matches the feeling that I want to have for the year. It makes no sense if my intuition, if my body and my mind are telling me I need a season of rest, right? If I have that recognition, but then I decide that my goal should be to run a marathon for the first time in my entire life, those don't match. So I'm going to fail somewhere. I'm setting myself up for failure somewhere. Either I am not going to get the rest that I believe I really need in that season, or I am going to honor the fact that I need rest, but not reach my marathon goal, and I'll feel like a failure on that end. So for me, it helps so much to understand the feeling that I want to have for the year, or that I just have a goal of. And then I come up with a word for that. And the reason the word works for me is simply because it's a mantra I can come back to. Like, again, if I am choosing things in my life, vacations that we're going to take, work projects I'm going to do, things I say yes to, things I say no to, all of those things. Or if I'm starting to stress myself out about things, that word becomes a mantra to me, and it grounds me in the decisions that I'm making. And with that, it's really important to know that you can change it halfway through. You can change it 2 months in. If you have chosen a word or a feeling and you realize a few months into the year that it doesn't match what you need anymore, you can change it. So you might need rest for the first 3 months. And then you might find, gosh, I have a lot of energy and a lot of excitement and a lot of ambition, so I'm going to change it up. You can do that. So that's why the word and the feeling works for me. So I actually kind of start with that. And you guys have heard me say this over and over again. I then always have a list of pretty much my top 5 values in life. Like my value, what I stand on as a human being on this earth. And those can change too. But I find for me, they don't change quite as much. Sometimes the order of them will change, but they're fairly solid. And so for me, it is family. Like number 1 is kids, and my husband falls in that too. And so that's always number 1 value to me. And then within in the top 5 is always going to be my health, which would include nervous system regulation, what I need to do for my health, my workouts, eating, seeing various doctors, all of that is going to fall under that category. And then I'm going to have work because that is a very high value for me. And I have not only the work I do, but also what are my goals with that. And then community as a whole, which would involve my friends, but also am I giving back to the community, our neighborhood, in-person communities, online communities, those kind of things. So those are generally going to be my values as a person and giving back within that. And that generally falls into community as giving back as well. And so those 2 things, knowing like my values and what those are, and then kind of the feeling or what I want the year to look like a little bit, that then allows me to make my goals. And again, it means that decisions are going to be easier for me. And so that is the process that works for me. Then I go in and I do make specific goals. And for me, I will make a few for the year. And I try personally not to be too attached to them because I know they might change. Also, I have found for myself, I sometimes hold myself back from making really big goals because I don't know. I think it would take more introspection for me to know exactly why. Some of it is just how I was raised. Some of it is my fear of not reaching them. Some of it is that idea of feeling like too big for my britches, probably too self-important. And so I am always working on making bigger goals, like shooting for the stars. That I think that's really important. And there is a lot of research behind that. Verbalizing, like using words to verbalize what you want, making it big, letting the world and the universe know what you want, writing it down. There's a lot of power also in writing it down. Don't just make these goals in your mind, speak them out loud, write them down. There's a lot of power in that. And so make sure it is something that you believe that you can reach, and also that you're allowing yourself to think really big. So I do some of both. I write down the tangible things that I believe that I can reach. And then I also make sure that I leave room for the big dreams, that I leave room for the things that, gosh, I don't know how this is going to happen. I don't see a path to that right now. But I am not letting go of that big goal and that big dream. And I've seen them happen in my life, and I've seen them take 10 years, but it's stuck there. I've just put a pin in it. I've put it out there. I've held on to it. I haven't known how we would get there as a family or myself get there. But I have. I mean, one example is when we moved to Hawaii, I'm thinking almost 20 years ago. And I put on my dream board, I cut out a piece of paper and I put an app. Okay. And there weren't apps at the time. Like, that's what you need to know. This was like 2006. There really weren't apps. I mean, there wasn't social media. There wasn't any of that. But I was like, I want something digital. That's what I knew. I wanted something digital to be able to reach people around the world with workouts and my services. I didn't know what that was going to look like. Like I said, there probably were apps. I didn't know what that was. There were DVDs. And then look now at what the privilege that I have, the platform that I have, and the privilege that I have in that, and the community I have online. I didn't know how that was going to happen. I just knew that was something in my heart that I wanted to grab onto. So make room for that, okay? Make room for the big dreams. Allow yourself not to know how it's going to happen, but put it out there. Don't hold back on that. So I have those big dreams, and then I make the tangible goals to help me get there. And I find that if I kind of reassess those real tangible goals every 3 months, that's how I stay on track. I don't expect myself to do it in less time than that. You have to allow yourself to get into it, to try it, to see how things are going. So every 3 months, I kind of do a quick reassessment. We're talking maybe 5 minutes. I do a really quick reassessment. Is this working? Is it not? Am I enjoying this process? Am I not? Like workouts, you can look at it that way. I'm lifting weights 2 times a week. I'm doing cardio 2 times a week, Pilates 2 times a week. Okay. My goals were this. Am I closer to my goals, or do I feel like after 3 months, that's not quite working for me? Like I have to drive too far to this Pilates class that I signed up for. So it's actually not realistic. Let me hold off on that. Let me see what it's like to do Pilates at home instead. Or I've been doing 2 days of lifting weights per week, and I am loving this. I'm going to up it to 3. Do that every 3 months. You don't need to do it in less time than that. Give yourself 3 months to settle in, to see how something's working, to see how it feels in your body, to see how it works with your schedule. Give yourself 3 months and adjust them as needed. Then at the end of the year, you get to look back and see how that worked for you without judgment, without any shame, without discouragement. If something didn't work, then that's what you say. You say, you know what, that didn't work for me. I either didn't set the goal correctly, or maybe I didn't have the feeling that I thought I did, so it was harder for me to stay accountable on that. Or maybe life just got in the way and I am going to adjust for the next year. Like you come at it realistic without those judgment feelings attached to it, and you move forward and you recognize, like I do, that I have met my needs in each season of life. I look back 3 years at my word of the year and I might say, wow, that does not resonate to me now. That's interesting. That doesn't resonate at all with me now. But I also recognize and honor the woman who I was then. And I say, you know what? That's what she needed then. And that's an important step to help me get where I am now. I don't put other people's expectations on myself. I don't look at other people's goals and words and say that should be mine. I have learned to listen to me. I also know myself in that I do want to get to the end of the year feeling like I did my best to honor myself. So hear me when I say I am not telling you I want to get to the end of the year and know I reached every single goal. I mean, that would be great, right? But that's not the part that is most important to me. I have learned over time, because again, it just will cause shame if I haven't reached them. The most important part is that I have honored myself and my needs. And I've done that by showing up for myself, listening to my needs that day, getting to know my body so that I know what my needs are, being real and true and present with the people in my life who mean the most to me, and making choices around all of that to help support those things. The only way I can really disappoint myself is if I don't do that, is if I make choices that aren't in line with my values as a person, that aren't in line with how I want to feel, how I want to show up in the world that year. That's the only way I can disappoint myself. If I miss a workout, so be it. I will do another workout the next day. I will get right back to it, because that is a value, right? Like that idea of taking care of this body I have that's been through so much, that's been battered and beaten down and broken and bruised. It is a value of mine to take care of it. And that does mean showing up in my workouts. But if I need to change up a workout because I don't feel good that day, great, I'll do it. If I'm traveling and I can't work out for 2 days, no problem, because I'm still honoring myself and what I need. So that's how I personally put it together. There's so much research that shows that setting goals is valuable, so important. Also, I have found you really have to do it in a way that makes sense to you. I have tried to follow other people's strategies for setting goals in the past. I mean, because there are so many strategies out there, and I have tried to follow all of them. And there are a lot that just didn't ever resonate with me. So when I did it, I was following the steps, but I never really believed I would reach any of those goals. Like I never really believed that it would work. And I will tell you, the number one most important thing is that you believe it's going to work. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the process that you're setting for yourself. You have to find something that sits in your body in a way that feels grounding and comfortable to you. And so that's what I've kind of done with the process that I go through is I took all the things I know about the research and the truth and the things that could help, and I took ideas from other people because I think they're good ideas. But then I made it into something that sits with me in a way that I believe that it will make a difference. It spurs me on. It makes me smile. It really does. Like the word that I choose, I have it above my computer. Actually, I'm looking at it right now, and I still have the one from 2025. It keeps me going, and that doesn't mean it's always easy. I mean, I'm looking at the word actually right now from 2025, and it was a tough one for me. It was a tough one. But I know, again, knowing myself and what I go through in this process, I honor that was an important piece for me and my growth this year. And I probably need to keep working on it. And it will help lead me into the next piece. So take the process and stay committed to it, but also make it your own. Maybe you have a mantra that you write down and you put up on your mirror that you look at all the time. Maybe you find Bible verses that match the feeling that you want. Like maybe that is something personally to you that you really relate to. Maybe you tell a loved one. Maybe you get a group of girlfriends and you guys stay accountable together. Maybe you keep it to yourself. And that's the way I am. I really keep it very close to my heart, because that works for me. But I also sit, and my husband and I, he's the person I'm closest to in the world, and I can bounce ideas off of. And so, once a quarter, we will sit or just go on a walk, and we will talk about our goals as a family, as a couple, for our kids, for ourselves, for our businesses. We talk those out loud, because not only will I then have a cheerleader in mind, but I have someone helping me reach those, which is really important. And so use all of those pieces together to help yourself go where you want to go this year. Don't ever think that anything's too big for you. And also, don't think anything's too small. If your goals and your comfort involves small steps in comparison to someone else who you're seeing who is shooting for the moon, like maybe for you, shooting for the moon is sleeping through the night, is just feeling comfortable in your skin. Those are great goals. There is absolutely no judgment out there for what the goals are. All that matters is that they are important to you. And that is my hope and my dream for you as we enter 2026, that you believe in good things happening for you, that you believe that you are here and you are worthy and you are important, and your goals and your dreams are important too. And that if there is a misstep, or if there's a missed day, or if there's a goal that changes, you just recognize that is a part of your journey, and you get to keep going. And I am so extremely grateful to have you here. I am so grateful to enter 2026 with you. I will be cheering you on from afar. I will be cheering you on through Meet Your Body, through the podcast throughout the year. And again, if it sounds like something that will serve you, then I will also be cheering you on in our Thrive 4-week program that starts January 5th, 2026. You can sign up for that below. I wish you absolute joy as we enter the new year. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for listening today. I would love it if you could take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. It means a lot to us and it helps our content get out to more women who need it. You can find more of my resources at my website, jessicavalant.com, or find me on YouTube at Jessica Valant and Instagram at Jessica S. Valant.